Attention please, this video will be even more spoiler heavy than the previous ones, you have been warned. Hello, this episode covers the last boss of the Deltascape part of the Omega raid in Final Fantasy XIV, Exdeath. It was the final boss of the main story of Final Fantasy V, and we fought it 3 times, and another special one, but I won't talk about this one. In the 14th, the normal fight opposes us to its first form from the 5th, as well as its second true form for brief mechanic. You can see it emerging from the top of that weird tree. Yes, that's a tree. Exdeath in the 5th was born from a tree in which, following a war against the big bad guy, were sealed the souls of criminals, other beings and devilish powers, so as to purge the land of the corruption, which ended up merging those souls into an entity that would only desire complete annihilation of everything. It therefore created this being in blue armor to move more easily around the world, trying to release the power of the void to, well, destroy everything. It was crawling in its bark, I guess. Let's take a look at its skills. In the 5th, it had Reverse Polarity, 100 Gs and Earthshaker, but it left them to Halicarnassus and Catastrophe in the 14th. Its Doom status barely makes an appearance in FF14 at the beginning of the battle, despite Exdeath recasting it randomly throughout the battles in its human and tree form in the 5th, especially since you couldn't dispel it once afflicted. Before continuing, a bit about that void energy ball looming outside the arena. In FF5, Exdeath interacted with the void only outside of battles, with indirect effects on your progress by deleting parts of the world. It's probably the reason why in the 14th, the void effects are directly linked to the encounter itself, notably by changing the outcomes of 3 spells. The 3 black magic elements, again in their 3rd ranks, are reused in some ways that, like previously mentioned, vary depending whether Exdeath draws from the void or not. Thunder is either a tank buster or an AoE around Exdeath when it uses the void. Blizzard is either an AoE under players, or an arena-wide AoE that freezes everyone not moving when it's void infused. The fire element is the only one that already had 2 versions in the 5th. Fire Agate that targeted only 1 character, targets 4 players at the same time in the 14th. And Blaze that hurts all your team in both but adds damages over time in FF14. A part of its script allowed it to often perform 2 actions one after another. It became dual cast that makes it use twice the same black magic spell in a row. About the flare spell, there is one interesting thing to spot between FF5 and 14. Flare was used by its tree form and only hit 1 target. However, the human form had an alternative called Flare Level 3, that only affected targets with a level divisible by 3. Square Enix kept the number 3 for the number of targeted players, but changed Flare to an AoE while keeping the visual effects. Gravity in the 5th halved the current HP of 1 target. This spell makes a comeback with only a void enhanced version, Black Hole, that scatters gravity balls randomly on the arena, with even some of them following players in Savage mode. Now about the tree form. In FF5, it appeared as really long coming from a platform afar, while our team stood on another one. To convey the humongous size in the 14th, you can see the roots and parts of the body outside the arena, probably traveling from a portal to another, to end up in the middle of the arena for a mechanic. The explosion when it pops out and the root slapping are exclusive to FF14, while the zombie breath was used by its human form in the 5th and exchanged it against White Hole. In the 5th, White Hole killed 1 character and petrified them, so you still had to cure the stone status after raising them. Its FF14 version keeps the effects but with 3 conditions. If a player is full life, it does nothing. If someone is between half and 99% of their HP, they are petrified, and under 50, they die. Holy stayed the same in both games. Meteor in the 5th was a pebbles shower dealing 4 times random damages to random targets. In FF14, Exdeath only uses 1 giant rock hurting the whole team for a set amount. Vacuum Wave only hit one target, but ignored defense stats and added a dot effect on top of it in FF5. In the Deltascape, Exdeath changed it to a simple AoE, dealing moderate damages and pushing away everyone. That second effect is a lot more pronounced in Savage. And that's all for Exdeath. Take care and have fun. But if you're interested in new Exdeath, you can click on that video.